This is KJ from Wisconsin.
KJ from Wisconsin. First off, you've just reminded me, you have a very, very important election on Tuesday, KJ. Tell me you're voting in that election for the Supreme Court. That way I can let you keep
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know how to follow up that last call. That was pretty good. But I did want to talk about the Wisconsin situation. We're in a uniquely purple situation that a lot of other states don't have. Considering how close even just the Mandela versus Ron Johnson election was, this past one, I think it came down to 27,000 votes.
And we should be clear, Barnes got no support from the National Democrats.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was very. I was shocked that there was nothing, and he had not my favorite by any means, but he had tons of policy. He had all this stuff going for him, and Lord knows, considering what the Democrats have been doing, it could have been helpful to pick that up. But sure, I guess. But this election's been very interesting because I think the Republicans in this state have learned from the more national online, it seems, ones that the whole trans panic doesn't seem to work as well as they want it to. A lot of people just really don't care. It doesn't. One of my favorite moments was talking with some of my coworkers in my old summer job working for the city. And when they heard about transgender people, they were just like, okay, that doesn't affect me. Why do you guys care? So they've doubled down on a lot of the same thing they always do, which is just crime is through the roof, crime is through the roof. Every single advertisement. And there's text banks, too, is just endless about Janet Protasiewicz is just going to drive up crime, and she's letting criminals off. And it's just an endless wave. But one of the things that came out, there's a Milwaukee Sentinel article, please use ad blockers, that came out 2 days ago that was about a Senate Republican, I can't remember his name, Dan Nodal, talking about if they take over the Senate again or preserve a Republican supermajority, they want to immediately move to impeach Janet Protasiewicz if she were to get elected. And I just don't get it. At what point do we just say, hey, look, they don't actually care about the policy anymore. They're not here to do anything. They're just here to make sure they win, and then they can set whatever rules they want.
Oh, dude, I would say in Wisconsin, that point was about 13 years ago. I think when Scott Walker was rolling back the right to unionize in that state and was getting rid of Badger Care.
Absolutely.
I would say that was 13 years ago in Wisconsin. I have to say, this race in Wisconsin, dollar for dollar, sort of like size for size, is perhaps one of the most important races that we could see around the country, including, even the Senate races, because we got a one, vote margin in the Senate. This race here in Wisconsin, and in many respects, this is where this era of Republicanism started. It started with the AFP, the Americans for Prosperity, the Koch brothers, and Walker and Alec. A lot of it really started in Wisconsin. And this race, seemingly so small and insignificant, I think has huge implications. It has implications in terms of what the Republicans can do in terms of their gerrymanders in this state that has the greatest imbalance between votes cast and representation in the state house. Again, we've talked about this ad nauseum, where you have you can have 50-50 votes in terms of Democrats, Republicans, and the Senate turns out to be 60-40 Republican because of the gerrymandering. It has huge implications in terms of voter disenfranchisement. And then it has huge implications for the presidential election. You know, Wisconsin's one of those 3 states that are going to be constantly in play because of stuff like this. It's really, really big. It's really important.
Yeah.
Well,
before I go, I just also want to mention the ballot measures about it too. I don't think they're binding; they're discussion based. But one of them is basically, should a women's right to bodily autonomy be upheld in the Senate, and that needs to be. Please vote yes. That is very important, considering the fact that was only removed and ruled upon less than a full year ago.
Got to get in there, and it's huge. Appreciate the call.